Greetings, everyone. This is Elijah from the Side Hustler Society podcast. And today we're going to be talking about customer retention when it comes to running a business. Regardless if you're a full time hustler or a side hustler, if you have some type of business that involves customer service, customer interaction, and sales and upsell, then this podcast is definitely for you. I'm going to be bringing on a guest to discuss this topic, Irina. Unfortunately, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I don't like butchering last names, so I'm going to actually wait and have her say her last name so that no one butchers it. But Irina is a SaaS founder and a business consultant who specializes in operations and processes optimization. Irina has over 8 years of experience in e-commerce with its different challenges and obstacles, from running a fulfillment center in China, where she was living for over 2 years, to launch her own software, Trackmage. Trackmage allows e-commerce stores to have 5 to 10% extra sales by simplifying the customer experience. With Trackmage, the customer can track their products on the platform, and the system does the upsell and automatic follow-ups for reviews. You see how that can be useful. So, with that bio done, let's go ahead and hop into the intro and welcome her to the stage.
Welcome to the Side Hustler Society podcast with your host, Elijah Bilel. This is where you can find out more about hustles that are best for you. And of course, make more money in the process. Elijah has been in the gig economy and freelance space for over 5 years and has done over 3,000 deliveries on Uber Eats. He's an Airbnb superhost, runs multiple YouTube channels, and is the author of the best-selling book, The Anatomy of Financial Success. It's his mission to empower people with the tools needed to be successful. Now, welcome your host, the king of side hustles, Elijah Bilel.
Okay, Irina, we're officially on. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you, Elijah. And my surname is pronounced Poddubnaia. I heard that and okay, yes, this is definitely a surname that you will not pronounce without any guidance. The tongue twister.
Right. Yeah, I have some people butcher my last name, believe it or not, and I don't think
Yeah.
anyone likes having their name butchered, so I always want to hear it just so I can say it right. Like if we were in person, I would just directly ask you. So how do you say your last name, just so I can get it right?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So how you doing today, though?
Everything's awesome. That's how it is on a Sunday because we're going. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I'm actually pretty excited for this podcast because whether someone is doing a business part time or full time, I think the internet has minimized people's attention towards customer retention. They kind of have this mindset that I'll just keep getting new customers, and you definitely should have systems to get new customers. But a lot of times, people don't really provide the most value for their existing customers. Like a lot of times, there are ways that your existing customers can be promoted to, so that your services and products can continue to serve them, and you can get the most lifetime value out of that customer. I am using some terms that some people in the audience might not be familiar with, but the lifetime value is basically all the products and services that you have available. Just add all of them together, and that gives a lifetime value to a customer that they could potentially spend money with you. So it's basically the customer's potential to spend money with you maximized. And a lot of people don't reach that full potential.
I would add that a lifetime value definitely is the backbone of long-term strategy. If you are just in a quick money grab and you don't want to invest a lot in the business and you don't want to do it long-term, or you don't want to grow it enough so it can be sold to others, then you don't have to pay any attention to customer retention. But if you are in the long-term game and you want to really grow your business beyond just occasional sales on weekends, that would be the best metric to focus on. Because if customers buy from you once, the probability of them buying from you again is 27% higher than just the person who have never heard about you. And if we buy from you 2 times, the probability goes to 47%. And the third time, 57. So that customer is going to continue buying from you as long as you offer something interesting. And that's why customer retention is very important if you are in the long-term business growth strategy.
Indeed, indeed. So some people might be wondering, given your e-commerce background, how did you first initially get started in e-commerce?
Oh, that was quite an interesting story. So originally, I was just an office worker like anyone else. I was selling frozen berries in bulk, and I was just dealing with all those export-import relationships. And at that point, I felt invincible. Felt that I knew everything about business. So when the opportunity presented itself, I went to China with my husband, and we started a business there in a country where we don't speak a language. So
Oh,
we still don't speak Chinese, but that was an interesting idea that we pursued to fulfillment. And that's how we started that business where we helped retailers buy goods from Chinese suppliers, and we were the fulfillment center for them. So we actually fulfilled the orders and shipped to the customers. So that was what I used to do for 2.5 years. At some point, the business just wasn't profitable enough anymore, so we closed it. But we were left with the systems that we built for that business. And the systems were for fulfillment, for customer communication, for just making sure that you are buying everything that is in the order, so that there are no mistakes in fulfillment side.
mhm.
And then we just we realized that this system is so much needed on the market that we decided to offer it to our e-commerce sellers. So that's how Trackmage started. That's what we built it on based on our internal systems. So the very first thing that we did in our Chinese business, we were just starting from Excel spreadsheets. Everything was in Excel spreadsheets with direct communication with the customers. But
Mhm.
then slowly and gradually over 2.5 years, we've automated most of the processes. So we already knew all the business logic. So it was quite easy to port it to become a software as a service. That's like I'm SAS. That means like a software as a service founder. So that's how Trackmage started, and what's what I do currently. Yeah, and just to give very simple explanation of what Trackmage is. Remember how when you order on Amazon, they always provide you the page where you see like when the product is coming to your doorstep, and when you're going to receive like all the shipment notifications. And later, after the product gets delivered, they also send you a request to leave a review for that product.
Mhm.
So that's the post-purchase experience, and that's the fancy functionality that we take and make it available for our sellers for like on Shopify platform, WooCommerce, ClickFunnels, and other tools that don't have that kind of system. So that's in a nutshell what Trackmage is.
Hmm. Interesting. Oh, that's I love software as a service. I mean, I think it's I just remember the times where it wasn't available, and it you had to do all this stuff yourself as far as like, well, not just the email marketing and keeping in touch and all that, but you still need to do this to some degree, but it was much, much, much more manual versus what's available now with software as a service.
Yeah. Well, it definitely was manual, and for us, when we were starting the business, like everything was Excel spreadsheet based, and conversation in Facebook Messenger. That was the entire business. But then, like gradually, it became a robust system that we were able to just focus on things that truly mattered, just like growing sales, making sure that the marketing side worked, and not so much about actually counting how many items we received from the supplier, or making sure that the right products go in the right package. That's what was the problem initially.
Right. Okay. So, like in your e-commerce business, did you mainly have low ticket items, mid ticket items, high ticket items, or did you have a mix of all three? And just so the audience knows, the lingo we're talking about, like a low ticket item, is usually under $100. Mid ticket is between uh, 500. But some
Mhm.
people consider 100 and 1,000. And then high ticket is over 1,000 or over 500. So, did y'all have a mix of those, or did y'all specialize in one or two of them?
We were not an e-commerce business, so to say. We were a fulfillment center.
Mm.
We actually bought whatever the e-commerce businesses wanted to sell. So we helped them with getting the products from the suppliers, and then we checked the quality and then shipped them to their warehouses, basically. So that's why I would say that it was a very wild mix, because anytime we wanted to, like, we worked with we worked with various like clothing brands when we were like shipping the bags, when we were shipping like one weird time we were asked to buy an actual genuine Miu Miu shirt that was just released. I don't know what the buyer was actually thinking when she ordered it from us, because I guess from China, it's not a common place where you would go for genuine brands, right? Like an outlet, like I would probably think that she should have contacted some supplier from Italy or something like that. But for some reason, and that was an extremely expensive item. That was like $1,000 shirt, which from my standpoint was like complete waste of money. Like, come on, like it's just like a silk shirt, $1,000. Like, why? But the very thing still stands that this was an outlier. Most of the times we were just fulfilling orders for wholesalers where like they were purchasing like thousands of items in the same order, and that's how it was like a high ticket item for us overall, but the number of items inside of each order, it was like numerous. We had a customer who actually purchased jewelry, and like one single package, like a very small package of 1 kilogram or 2 kilograms, contains around like 1,000 items inside of them, like where we had to calculate every piece and make sure that everything is according to the order.
Okay,
So yeah.
gotcha. Cool, cool. So, we were actually just talking about LTV a few minutes ago, and
Yeah.
since you've come across a lot of brands and a lot of businesses, given your profession, do you think that there's a minimum LTV that a company should have for a customer? Like, because a lot of people, a lot of businesses nowadays, they may not necessarily have enough products, but it's because they don't actually realize how important it is. So, if you had to put a number on, like, at the very minimum, you feel like a customer should have a lifetime value of this at the very minimum, what would that number be, money wise?
Well, it's very hard to tell, because for that we need to do some kind of market research to see across industries, like what kind of lifetime value is normal for that industry or for that specific niche. And I believe it just depends on which region you're selling in, and what is the norm. So there is no easy answer to that question. There needs to be some research if you're interested in specific figures. So in that case, I would rather say that like, I don't know. Let's research. Let's research on Google and elsewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying, because I it is going to be dependent on circumstances. I will say, like in the U.S., and it still depends on what you're selling and all that stuff. Pat Flynn coined this kind of concept, but it's the super fans theory, where if you can develop 1,000 true fans, then that's the key way to making six figures. So theoretically, if you had a lifetime value on a customer of, let's say, $100, and you can get that 1,000 super fans, do the a super fan is someone that's gonna buy everything that you have to offer. So you can assume that a super fan is actually going to um, fulfill their lifetime value of $100. But if we multiply 100 times 1,000, boom, we have $100,000. And that's kind of like the theory of, if you develop the super fans and you're willing to put in the work to do that, and you have a lifetime value at the very minimum of $100, you have a six-figure business.
Yeah, well, in simple terms, I would agree. Like if we were talking just about mathematics, but then again, with different industries, you might be just having one customer who buys those 100,000. That's how that's how it is in wholesale. It
Right.
just depends where you're aiming and what kind of industry you're in. Because like again, like from from that same experience in China, there were companies that were actually buying industrial modules, and each module, like it was like this small box of like maybe I don't know how many centimeters, like 20 centimeters, and then it weighed only 1 kilogram, but it was worth let's say $5,000, like each item was like that. So it just depends. Each industry is different, and I would strongly say that in retail, it's also tough when you launch your brand out there in the wild and you don't have an audience. It's much harder to start from scratch. That's why it's better to start from building the audience first, and then start to
Mhm.
sell something to that audience when you already know those guys and what do they like and what they don't.
Oh, that's powerful advice. A lot of people wanted to start with the product or the service, but you would really benefit to start with the audience first and cultivate that, because let's say you come up with the perfect product and service. Well, who are you going to sell it to? You don't have any credibility or anything. And if you have the audience first, you've got to know their likes, their dislikes, their tastes, their culture, and all this can be used in market research to better cater towards them. And you may find that your product will end up being a little better because you're actually a part of the community and you know what they like. So yeah.
And it's much easier to figure out what we like by just asking questions, because it's an endless well of customer research. If you have a community or if you have some kind of social following, you don't have to launch in the void, or you don't have to guess what kind of product they would buy. You can simply ask them what product they would like to see. And it's the easiest way to start, because you will not have to invest upfront, where you have to develop a product, the packaging, figure out all the logistic routes, like buy the product, or make an agreement with some kind of supplier where the product is available and they're going to do drop shipping for you. So
Mm.
again, it's much easier to start from sales or pre-sales, even from Kickstarter or some kind of Indiegogo campaign, where you don't know if a product is going to sell, but then you ask people to vote with their money upfront without having to invest anything from your out-of-pocket money.
Right. You mentioned asking questions. Is that something that you've leveraged either now or in the past, is like customer surveys or polls, that kind of thing, just to get a feel for, well, just to stay up to date on like what your audience wants
Yeah.
and likes?
Hmm. I have a strong point like to argue about, because with surveys, everyone is going to reply however you word it. With surveys, they
Hmm.
don't really show you if they're going to buy. That's why the best way to really see if there is demand for a product or not is to ask the person to buy that product. That's why I mean there is this great company called Digital Marketer with Ryan Dice. So what they did when they were testing demand, they were launching funnels with just the product description. And when the person actually clicked the buy button, the system said, sorry, the product is not yet available, but thank you for your interest and all that stuff. And
Ooh.
that was a very good way to measure the demand. I think it was even just after they entered the credit card. The credit card wasn't charged, but when the person received a notification like this product is not yet available, but thank you for your interest, you are on the wait list, and we are going to contact you when as soon as it is available. And this way, we actually measured if people were willing to buy, not just tell them that they want to buy or tell them what they want to hear from them. With surveys, it's not 100%. And if you do in-person surveys, or if you ask your friends, come on, like the friends are only going to say, like, yes, this is an awesome product. I would definitely buy it. And then nobody buys. Like when you buy the 10,000 units, and they are like laying in your garage somewhere, and then nobody, not even your friends, but told you that they're going to buys. This is like the most common story, the nightmare of e-commerce seller who is just starting. Like, yeah, I bought this product from China, 10,000 units. Now I know what to gift everyone for Christmas, Hanukkah. I mean, like Thanksgiving, like, and every holiday across the whole year.
Uh, uh, I don't know the exact saying, but basically, it's the saying is in business, take advice from friends with a grain of salt. I think that
Mm.
applies a lot here. But I really
Yes.
I like that tactic of basically arranging it so that a person clicks a button if they're interested, and obviously they don't buy it because it's not available yet. And you let them know when it is going to be available, but you can automatically put them on a waiting list. So when it is available, this customer's already shown interest. And when you send your promotional material, your emails out or whatever, the chance of them actually taking action is pretty high because they already took action. It just wasn't available. And you can go ahead and start measuring results on your marketing campaign because, everything is conversion and open rates and sales. So you arrange your email marketing. You see how many people open the email. Do you see how many people actually click the link? Then you see how many people would have purchased it. You get a conversion rate, and you can actually start getting feedback on that. In addition
Yes.
to building a list of people who will be the most likely to buy once this comes out. That's a great tactic.
And another neat idea would be to find a dropshipping supplier. If you don't want to invest anything upfront and you just want to test demand, you could definitely just list the products that the supplier has. And if you get orders for those products, you just buy them from the supplier. This way, you will be able to fulfill those orders that are considered pre-orders because you are not willing to right now invest upfront in specific product because you don't know what exactly is going to sell. And the
Right.
good idea would be to also look at the major platforms and see which products are already in demand. That's what a lot of tools are doing right now. They just measure like which products are bestsellers on Amazon, on eBay, on Etsy, and then you just see all the data and you will be able to list those same products without having to purchase them upfront. Like there is another like drawback of dropshipping suppliers is that I guess shipping from China takes time, and if your customer is not willing to wait for 2 weeks or up to 2 months, sometimes that might be problematic for the business because customers, when they are waiting for the orders, they are very impatient and they're anxious. And if you just, for example, send them an email reminding about your store, they're going to, what did I buy? Oh, I bought this thing. It's still not there. Like, let me refund. Sometimes that even happens. Yeah.
Yeah, there's it's two sides of a coin.
Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, with dropshipping still, it's a good strategy, a solid one, just to get started to measure the demand. And once you figure out which product you actually like and which product is selling well, you just purchase the goods, you ship it to your fulfillment center, and then ta-da, you have a business. You can just scale it and not worry about long shipping times from China, for example.
Right, right. Okay. So the businesses that you've come across, did they use some kind of a content strategy to retain customers? Like, did they have a blog or podcast, or did they put videos out on a regular basis, keep their audience engaged, and put like call to actions at the end or in the content to encourage like buying?
Well, one of our best customers is actually a YouTube influencer. So they are creating their own animated series. So they
Ooh.
literally they just draw a cartoon on regular basis, and it has a narrative. It's called Metal Family. It's about a family of metalheads, and like uh, the thing is, they have an audience, and that audience is hungry. They currently have around 3 million subscribers on their channel. So what they do is when they release merchandise, any merchandise, it gets sold out. The very first thing that they did, they launched a comic book. They printed 10,000 comic books, and they thought that this is going to sell maybe in 2 months. Oh my God, how wrong they were. The thing was that when they launched the comic book, it was sold out in less than a week, like 10,000, and they were not really ready to fulfill all those orders. And the customers, for this specific fandom, the customers were like varying in maturity, but most of them are immature because it's a cartoon,
Right.
and they made mistakes in their email addresses. So even if they wanted to receive the information about their order, they couldn't because the email was spelled with an incorrect letter or like Gmail instead of Gmail. So what happened then? That the customers were really just reaching out to Metal Family all the time, and like even like one customer could generate 5 customer support requests because they were reaching out on Facebook, on YouTube, on email, and like it was a nightmare. But what we did when Trackmage was introduced to Metal Family, we helped them first eliminate that problem with the email validation. Because right now, if you try to order something from Metal Family, if you spell it incorrectly, there are suggestions first, and then there is an actual validation if that email exists or not. So that eliminated the problem of like every third email being incorrect. And then what happened is that after the purchase, all the information about the order is getting sent to the customer, but not only the current one, but also all the updates about the shipping status change. And what exactly happened is that once we provided those tracking pages to the customers, we've seen a surge of traffic to the website. So every customer who was waiting for the comic book or some other merchandise that they purchased, they were checking the package status every day for 1 or 2 times. So that's a lot of traffic to give to a UPS or DHL or FedEx instead of your own store.
Right.
Also, what we've seen is that those emails were opened very frequently. With what we've seen, our statistics says that up to 60% of those emails were opened because customers consider them transactional, not marketing. Marketing emails, they have like around like 20% of open rate. Then what else happened is that previously Metal Family, they were not asking for reviews at all. And in Trackmage, that's a built-in functionality. At the end, when the package transitions to the status delivered, there is an email asking them to leave a review. And from those 10,000 orders, we collected 2,150 reviews. That was unheard of because like 2,150 reviews, like just imagine, with like from 0 to 2,150. So yeah, right. And I believe the best would be to first build an audience, build a passionate audience for your product, for your idea. It could be a business that is based around some kind of social work. So it could be something like a non-profit with T-shirts that like I help save the rainforest or something. And this way, you not only get people passionate and they are buying to support your business, but also you get to fulfill your purpose.
Right.
That's the best. That's the best combination out of all of them. But then, yeah, there are some businesses where you just started for the money and you want to make it a success. Then you just need to go the traditional routes of seeing which SEO keywords you need to be optimizing for, which channels you need to advertise on. Right now, I would argue that TikTok is quite cheap compared to the rest of the platforms if you can get your account registered and like start running those ads, because not all the countries have that right
Right.
now.
Interesting. TikTok, that's an interesting one because I do know that TikTok has a very young audience. That a lot of times
I
they are,
think that was true maybe a couple of years ago, but right now a lot of business people they are already there, and they are talking about even enterprise sales, B2B, e-commerce. and those videos, they get traffic and they get customers. So I believe if B2B audience is already there, I think retailers, you've got a platform to advertise on.
Okay, cool. I can see that. So when it comes to we kind of this is a good tie-in based on what we were talking about. But would you say that well, email marketing is important when it comes to this? But in what ways do you feel email marketing can be leveraged when it comes to customer retention?
Yes, this is an interesting and sore topic for me because in multiple businesses that I've seen, the communication stops after the very moment when the customer buys. So, yes, I
That's
bought something and then they just disappear. I cannot even see anything in my mailbox. That's a problem just because when you leave this kind of communication gap between you and the customer, some other product or some other business is going to take their attention. So email marketing is like it's a good leverage to stay on top of mind for the customer. It doesn't have to be always sales. You don't have to sell every time you send an email to your customers. You can just provide them some interesting information related to your niche. Let's say you're selling, I don't know, let's say you're selling some tablet. You could maybe send them an email talking about the best apps they could install for productivity. You could tell them about what to do with the tablet to like best keep it like in shape, like how to take care of your tablet. You could brainstorm a lot of different content pieces that might be considered valuable for your customer, but they don't have to be always about your product, or they don't have to be even uh, like they don't have to be sales related. But when you stay on top of mind, whenever the customer actually has a different occasion where they want to buy a product, they will remember, like, oh, yes, there was this company that is selling that tablet that I always wanted. So maybe I should just buy that and gift it to my favorite, I don't know, like to my favorite goldfish because she has a birthday today.
Hmm. You know, Ankh Single, which is he's someone that focuses heavy on email marketing. He has a few books on the matter. He basically says that everyone should have three types of emails that are sending on a some kind of regular basis. How regular it is depends on the nature of your business, whether it's weekly or monthly or whatever. But basically you have content emails, you have sales emails, then you have story emails. But you want to mix up the variation between the three because too much of any one thing is not going to be good. If you do nothing but content emails, you're training your audience to not expect to not spend money with you, and you're robbing. According to him, you're robbing them of that adrenaline rush they get when they buy something. If you do nothing but sales emails, well, that gets tiring after a while. And if you do nothing but story emails, we know you share your personal life, it starts to become like more of a vlog or just a blog about you. And yes, about your customers, not about you. But if you can mix all three, that's when you stay on your customer's mind. You can give them awesome content that's serving them. And when the time comes for them to spend money with you, they're going to do it.
Yeah, I definitely agree that everything is good in moderation. Too much of anything is not good for the business because it creates some kind of anxiety or some kind of like literally sometimes marketers they just cross the board. Uh, like they do send sometimes emails that get an immediate unsubscribe from my end. Something like deadline. Like, okay, it's your deadline, it's not mine. Like, thank you very much. Like, I don't need that kind of stress in my inbox. Right.
Scarcity marketing, I think that's the term, where it's like act 48 hours or you have 24 hours to get this or
Yes.
whatever.
Well, yes, those deadlines they're annoying because that scarcity usually it's fabricated. There is no real scarcity for a digital product unless it's an in-person course where there is like limited spaces where like once the group is gathered, that's it. That's it. But for a recorded course, like what kind of scarcity is there for a recorded course? Like, are you going to run out of MP4 files? What?
Yeah, I will say this about scarcity marketing. It does work to some degree, but it's not really my style personally. But I'm very repelled by scarcity marketing. It usually gets a lot of unsubscribes from me as well. Like if someone tries to say like you only have 48 hours left, and I know not really, you're just going to increase the price, I tend to unsubscribe. I say that I don't think there's anything wrong with doing both. You can do the scarcity marketing, but also just have the product generally available. One thing I don't like is when companies will take a product out of the marketplace to create scarcity. Like, hey, this will only be available for like a week, and then you get this countdown, then it's not available. And then you go on their website and it actually isn't available. I don't like that.
I've seen a very neat tactic that is probably better than this. When you just like, oh, I'm selling this product only once in the lifetime of every person, and I'm not going to sell it again. Whenever the marketer makes that promise, they have to keep it. But what really is working, if a product is really popular, you could increase the price and you say like, okay, you can get the product for this previous price because I'm like starting from next Monday, it increases to by maybe like 10, maybe like $200. Well, it just the price increases, and that gets a lot of sales because people want to still save the money. If they were considering to buy the product and they were kind of on the fence, that could push them over the fence.
Yeah, this book, Expert Secrets by
Yeah,
Russell
definitely.
Brunson, he
Yeah,
teaches
yeah,
that
yeah. Russell
heavily.
Brunson, love it,
Yeah.
love the guy.
Yeah, it's a great book that shows those type of tactics, and they really do work. They do.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
Mhm.
I'm not confusing like it's one thing to run a discount or a sale. That's different from hey, this isn't going to be available after the deadline. That's different. Like she just distinguished.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Another tag, like another subject line that irks me sometimes is just like Irina. That's it. They just say my name or like the first name, and then like, okay, what do you want? Because I cannot ignore that kind of
Yeah, we're psychologically
personalization that just
wired to
kind of
recognize our name, so you're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
have
yeah.
to stop scrolling.
Yes, but yeah, those are those were clickbaity tactics. I'm just like not a big fan of those. If you gotta tell something to the customers, make it meaningful because we are all busy people and we just don't want to click on some kind of like question mark. That's what I've received sometimes because marketers they just go overboard with that.
Oh, that actually kind of sparks a question for me. Like, what's the craziest scenario you've come across in the email marketing world? That might have been your crazy, just the question marks or whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah, what's the craziest for you?
I don't know. I got to check my inbox. Maybe I will come across something interesting right now. Okay. Is this it? That's what I'm seeing in my current mailbox. Is this it? Like what? Or like what exactly do you mean? I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, is this it? The clickbaited subject lines. You get some like you get open rates. Oh, and one time the craziest. Okay, I'm going to tell you about the craziest. Stupid. That's what the subject line said. Like stupid. Like my mailbox actually offended me. And when
Wow.
I clicked on it, it was from like one of my like former employers. He was also an internet marketer. But when he said like it's stupid to miss out on this amazing offer, but like first of all, I was offended. Like my mailbox, like you're calling me stupid? Are you not?
Yeah, like you started off on the wrong foot. You put me in a bad mood, and then I opened the
Yeah,
email. I was like, it's the same reason I don't allow like political ads to run on my YouTube channel
yeah,
because I don't know what person, I don't know what position my audience person who's watching is. Let's say they're a Democrat and it's a Republican ad and they get in a bad mood before they watch my content. I don't want them in a bad mood, so I don't let political ads run on my channel.
yeah. That's probably a wise strategy. But you never know what kind of ads are going to show up unless you actually vettle them and control. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So sticking with the theme of email marketing, I'm assuming like for someone that's setting up like automatic email sequences that go out after a customer after some kind of action that customer takes? Like, do you have any advice that you want to give someone who's setting that up? Like, a person buys and obviously they get their confirmation email with tracking information or whatever, but
Yeah.
are let's say, do you want them to go to a funnel where they receive a series of follow-up emails? What do you feel some of those follow-up emails should be?
It depends on the scenario. So I would say that the first thing would be to set up multiple funnels based on the actual action that the customer took. It's not a good idea to put everyone on the same list initially, because if, for example, they bought something, that's the most interesting person to have in your list, because you could introduce other offers that you have while
Let,
we're still in this buying frenzy.
yeah,
Uh,
let's roll with that scenario if they bought something,
yeah,
since we are talking about customer retention. So let's roll like if
right.
they bought something. Yeah.
Well, if I bought something, like it depends on the business, but in e-commerce, you might offer them some special discounts on the next order. You could offer them like a special club maybe that they can join, like the buyers of my amazing product club. That's what could also influence their next decision about maybe buying something else. So the best would be, like, if you have some kind of perishable product as part of your product line, where they need to refill it or they need to buy again, that would be to even persuade them to subscribe to your product. So let's say you sell some kind of almond milk. You could ask them to subscribe and to send them different almond milk every month. That's how all those subscription boxes started, because people were actually anticipating to receive some kind of surprise every month. And that's why a lot of a lot of times they just don't unsubscribe, because every month it's special. uh,
Mhm.
the idea would be to continue offering to customers products that they might want to buy, not the same one. Because a lot of times I've seen that e-commerce businesses, for some reason, they think that the person, once they bought a phone case, for example, they need 100 more phone cases. I don't think that that's true. And if the person bought that kind of accessory, you could offer them other accessories for their phone, but not a phone case, please. And that would be the customization, segmentation, where you need to actually see if the customer bought that specific product, what other products could I offer them. And with that, you need to have good systems in place and be able to configure those automations. With Zapier, for example, you could configure a lot of intricate workflows where the customer is going to receive different emails based on the criteria that you specified. And I'm just talking about like the last mile automation, where some sophisticated systems like ActiveCampaign or Klaviyo, where you could configure that inside of a system. You don't need Zapier, or you don't need to combine multiple systems into that same email marketing funnel.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, what you just described, I was going to ask about upselling next, but I think we just covered it. Uh, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, with upsells, the best thing that you could do is just offer them to buy your products. What happens, for example, on Amazon, when the customer goes to see the order status, they always see additional products that Amazon shows them. Regardless on which page you are always seeing products that you could buy and you could potentially be interested in.
Yeah.
So, and when it comes to standalone stores, for some reason, the stores just forget about offering additional products on the thank you page, on the tracking page, on any page that the customer visits. On your blog, you could be advertising products. It's a lost opportunity to always have traffic there without offering products. So always consider offering products, regardless if you think they will buy or not. That's for customers to decide, not for you. Uh,
Yeah.
a lot of businesses think, like, oh, this blog design doesn't support products. Like it's going to clash with the color. Who cares if they buy? Like, who cares?
Right. Like I see a lot of people, and this is pretty popular, but a lot of businesses will offer something for free in exchange for someone signing up for their newsletter, and that's fine. But the page that follows after they get the freebie or whatever, and it's emailed to them, a lot of people don't realize that that is actually a good place to put to upsell. Like
Yes.
I've offered a freebie to my audience before, and then once they fill out the form, it's emailed to them. But on that, it takes them to a page afterwards that brings up my book, the benefits of it, and if they want to buy it. And there's a certain percentage of people that will go ahead and act in because it was presented in front of them. And what's the worst case scenario? Okay, they don't buy it. So what? Best
Yeah,
case
and
scenario, they
then you
do.
can send them an email with a follow-up like, oh, you've missed this amazing offer. How about another one?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I say it's all about giving the customer choices. If you're not giving them choices at the right moments, don't complain about the results if you're not selling. At least that's how I put it.
Yes, because yes, it's a huge waste when they download the freebie and all they get is like, thank you for subscribing. You're going to receive an email soon. That's it. That's what a lot of companies do, and they consider it normal. If you have products to sell, why not sell them? Just at least offer. It doesn't mean to be like an immediate buy or an impulsive buy. If you are in B2B space, for example, not a lot of people in B2B space may make any emotional decisions. But if you are in retail, just offer the same thing, even. What is really fun about supplements businesses or some other like vitamin or health related products is that you could literally just offer the same thing in bulk. Like you sell them like one bottle of the supplements, they buy, you offer them a mega pack of 10 bottles right now. And then a lot of people just buy it again because like, oh, why not? Yeah.
Good point. Good point. All
It,
right.
it only works in e-commerce businesses. Again, huge thanks to Russell Brunson because it's from his book as well. Yeah, in
Right.
digital products it just doesn't work. Like if you sold them a book that scratches a certain itch, you cannot sell them the same course, for example, on the same topic. You should always try to mix and match to see what kind of products complement each other.
Right. Right. Now, I will say with the digital products niche, because that's something I have experience with. Obviously, you can sell something that's extremely similar to what they just bought or the freebie, but as long as it's the next phase in the LTV that we talked about, some people will actually step up to the next phase too. So, for instance, if you have a book and they bought the book, then the next course of action might be a consultation with you if your book is very niche and someone's looking to get into that niche. And some people, will, in addition to hey, your book's on the way, or if it's an ebook, it's in the inbox now, but they see that they can book a session with you, they'll go ahead and book that session because they're serious about this.
Mm. That's an interesting point about the book a session. You could even include that as a special bonus. And people say, like, oh, it's a bonus session. Like, you are giving your time for free. Well, okay, great. I'm going to book it. You don't say that it's a sales call or we're going to discuss, discuss what your business is about. But it's just this bonus session to troubleshoot whatever you want to troubleshoot. Because again, in B2B consulting, you usually solve some kind of problem. So you literally just offer them a bonus session of like 30 minutes with me on a call where we will talk about your business. It's a sales call, but in disguise. And people say that, oh, yay, free bonus.
Indeed. Well,
Yeah.
I love sales, so this topic gets me very giddy. But yeah, audience,
Yeah.
take note. We're dropping some good game.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of marketers and how they do stuff, and I bought a lot of stuff that I don't need just because of that. I'm usually buying products with this thought in my head that I'm doing this for scientific purposes to just see how their funnel works, to just see how their post-purchase experience works, because you cannot experience that until you buy. But then sometimes when I make the second purchase or the third, I'm questioning my reasons. Like, why you already know how they work. Why are you still buying? Because I like the products, right? That's why. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we can learn a lot from other businesses, and as business owners, we may tell ourselves, "Well, I'm going to do this just to analyze their systems and see what they're doing." That's probably true to some extent, but sometimes we just want the product too, so we got to be honest with
Yes.
ourselves.
Hmm. Well, all those AI tools, they just get me excited because every time I see a new AI tool, like I just want to try it, like yes, this and that, and like, okay, like why am I paying around like $300 in some kind of weird subscription? So like I should cut that off.
Right. All right. So I guess we'll go ahead and start wrapping up the podcast. But I always ask my guests if they have any questions for me. So do you have a question that you want to hit me with, Irina? And it doesn't have to be about the topic. It could be about just anything involving my brand or a question that you have.
Yeah. Well, I guess I would still be curious about your strategy when it comes to customer retention. Like, what do you do after the purchase so that the customers they feel this personal touch, or they still stay connected after they bought something from you?
So for me, I heavily use the content strategy. So since I have 3 YouTube channels, I don't I never run out of content I can send my audience on my email list. So I just make sure that I stay aligned with the overall brand and their goals. And I just frame the content in a way that it's going to serve their goals. And then I stick within the range of those 3 emails we talked about: content, story, and sales. And as long as I mix those 3 up, anytime a sales email pops up eventually, it hits a certain amount of people that want to buy. Then there's an upsell. Some people want to take advantage of that. But by staying in these 3 realms and staying consistent with it, it ensures that anytime I come up with a new product, a certain amount of people will be willing to buy because I'm still on their mind. By just keeping the content fresh and ongoing, it allows me to provide something for my audience that they can use and stay at the top of their mind. So for me, the content in this case, videos, is my content strategy for customer retention because they know every other day Elijah is going to come out with some kind of video that's going to help me solve some kind of problem. I wonder what he's going to do. And every now and then I'll talk about my personal life and because the best thing about who I'm catering to is I'm that person too. So I'm not like someone that's in another industry just so far disconnected. I'm in the game too. So when I see a problem that's going on, I talk about it, I give my view. People are invested in my view because I'm part of the community too. So that's my customer retention strategy.
That's great. If you're one of the people whom you're catering to, it's very easy to talk about various topics. You already know what they will be interested in, and that's why you talk about it. That's great.
Yeah. All right, Irina. So if people want to get more of you or they want to know more about a TrackMage, where can they find you? Like, feel free to drop your website or any social medias that you want to drop.
Well, the best place to find TrackMage is to visit our website, trackmage.com. And you will find all the social media in the footer of the site, so you can just literally follow us everywhere. We do have a TikTok channel as well. So, yeah, everything. We're trying everything, and we will see what sticks in the end. My favorite, like personally, my favorite social media is LinkedIn. That's where I'm mostly active. So if you want to find me personally, you can reach out on LinkedIn. Irina Poddubnaia, and the spelling is probably somewhere on the screen.
Indeed. For the audio listeners, her name is visible on YouTube. Now, I will say this before we go: a lot of people, especially freelancers, are sleeping on LinkedIn. It's the professional social media that you can use to build relationships, network, and also get clients. So, if you're a freelancer or even playing around with the side hustles, because this is a Side Hustler Society podcast, and you don't have a LinkedIn, are you sleeping on? You should create a LinkedIn and just start networking. At the very minimum, just create one. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised the connections you can make and the clients you could potentially get just by having a LinkedIn. And people will actually take you seriously because it's kind of like a filter. some people will Google your name or they'll look for you on LinkedIn. And if you're not there, but you're offering some kind of service, that might be the reason they turn you down. Like, I don't know, are they legitimate?
Yeah.
But
And also LinkedIn, even though it's not that commonly known, LinkedIn is really good when it comes to written content. If you're huge on Twitter, you can just repurpose your content from Twitter on LinkedIn. And I've seen a lot of businesses actually go this route. They literally they have only presence on Twitter and LinkedIn. They just don't have any other social media. That's an interesting strategy as well, especially if you are a copywriter or some kind of person who has a way with words. This way you can stand out on LinkedIn and Twitter as well.
I actually forgot about that. They really have stepped up their game over the years when it comes to what was always available, but I feel like they really started to cater towards uh, giving people the tools they need to make written work available. And all this can be seen on your profile. So, yeah. Okay. So, with that being said, we'll go ahead and conclude this episode of the Side Hustler Society podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can give us a thumbs up. Very much appreciated. Helps with YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And if you're listening to us, if you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, it's very much appreciated. With that being said, we'll catch you in the next podcast. Be safe and be profitable, everyone.
This episode may be over, but your hustling journey has just started. Visit thesidehustlesociety.com to access all links and resources mentioned in the show that will help you on your hustler's journey.